What's up guys, welcome back to a new Dying Light 2 video. This video is one that I've been wanting to make for about a day or two now, and this information basically just came to my attention again after a long time. I actually did see this information back when it was released in 2018. The reason I want to address this is because I just felt a lot of people have ignored this and haven't really covered this. I mean, maybe back in the day in 2018 when this was fresh, they might have covered it, but even now it's super hard to find stuff like this and theories on stuff like this. And I think it's just something really important that needs to be talked about and discussed in the Dying Light community. I would assume a lot of you watching this video today might not even know of this information just because of how hard it is to find today. Maybe back in the day it might have been a lot easier to find, but today it's sort of hard to find. There's a lot of articles that talk about Dying Light 2 and the story and the plot background, but not a lot of them actually include this information, but there are some out there. So yeah, I'm going to get right into this article. I'll link it down in the description. The question the interviewer asked is, could you elaborate on the story? You say you have to find something. What might that be? You're this survivor who enters the city looking for something very important that can change the fate of humanity. Then you have to meet people. You have to talk to people. You have to try to find where that thing you're looking for is, and that's the setup for basically the whole game. So this sounds a lot like Dying Light 1 if you really look at it here. You enter the city looking for something. We can relate this to Crane in Dying Light 1 looking for the GRE files and trying to recover them. It's very important and can change the fate of humanity, obviously very similar to Dying Light 1. Then you have to meet people and talk to them. So once again, we can relate this back to Crane where he got involved with the people and the GRE really didn't like that because the truth behind the GRE's motives came out. And Crane ended up siding with the people because he didn't want innocent people in Haran to die. And then he says you have to find where that thing you're looking for is, and that's a setup for basically the whole game. So this sounds just so painstakingly familiar to Dying Light 1. It's insane. So as far as you guys actually knowing this information, I don't really know that. I mean, there might be a select few of you, I would guess, that know this. But the only way you would be able to know this really is digging into articles yourselves, or possibly seeing other YouTube videos back in the day, 2018, 2019, talking about this. Even though I can't find any today, there might have been some back in the day, but I can't really find any today because it's just kind of hard to find videos that far back about this topic. If you search in YouTube, for example, Dying Light 2, Aiden is looking for something, nothing is going to come up about this. If you search it on Google, pretty much nothing is going to come up about this except for maybe an interview or two if you can find it. Once again, that's why I'm going to be putting this article in the description. If you want to check it out yourselves, I highly suggest to do it. Getting past that though, I want to talk about what I think this means for Dying Light 2 and sort of relate it back to Dying Light 1 a little bit. One theory I have that I think is really strong is that Aiden is looking for Dr. Camden's and Zare's research. We know at the end of Dying Light 1 that Crane delivered the research to Camden. After that, we really didn't get much more information besides the research wasn't panning out as expected, and the research was going really slow as far as a cure goes. So then at the end of the following, we see Crane either die as a hero or become a volatile. So that basically ends the progress of Crane with the cure with Camden. After that, we have no clue what happened with Camden's research, and part of this theory for me is that the research is somehow located in this last city on Earth, and that is what Aiden is after. This would make perfect sense because Smektala in the interview says it is very important and can change the fate of humanity. Now maybe this has nothing to do with Camden's research, and maybe this is just a totally different way that they are able to change the fate of humanity, as you would say. I think this is the most obvious theory that you could really think of out there and would just make the most sense. As far as them actually going with this, I don't know, maybe they want to surprise people and not go this obvious route. Something else I want to talk about is the GRE and how they're going to play a role in this. Now I'm thinking of the possibility of Aiden being a GRE agent or fighting against them in the search for this cure. I personally don't think that he would be a GRE agent just because that would be a complete rerun of Dying Light 1, and I think they want to do something a little bit more than just make him a GRE agent. But I also think it's really hard to make the GRE a not important group in Dying Light 2 after what happened in Dying Light 1. I think the GRE returning in Dying Light 2, they either have to have a big role from the start of the game, or they have to come out of nowhere and completely surprise everyone. And who knows, maybe the GRE is not even the bad guy in this game. They could possibly be reformed, especially since the whole world is pretty much dead except for this city. The GRE likely won't even have the same motives as the first game. The only reason they wanted to make the virus a weapon in the first game was for profit, and money. They might have completely different leadership in this game and different motives altogether. Another interesting thing about this comment is that's basically the setup for the whole game. So what I'm getting from this is that at the beginning of the game, Aiden is going to be either already in the city, on the outskirts of the city, or just entering the city somehow. As far as the ending goes, that's a little more unclear, especially since there are multiple endings confirmed. I would go out and say, in my opinion, I think Techland for one of the endings will go ahead and implement an ending that sees the end of civilization and all the humans dead. I think they would go for an ending like that, to be honest. I just have the feeling of that. I don't know why. We're obviously going to see multiple more endings. It's going to be fun to see how exactly the GRE and this important thing play a role in these endings. So that's basically all the information I wanted to present to you guys this video. I now want to encourage you guys to make your own theories, check my theory, tell me why I'm wrong on my theory, but for me, I think it makes perfect sense for this to happen in Dying Light 2. Does that mean it's going to happen? Probably not. It's probably going to be something totally different. Probably not going to be this at all, but I think it would just make sense. I want to know exactly what you guys think of the GRE, and do you think this important thing in the city could be Camden and Zare's research from Dying Light 1? Do you think it somehow could have got out of Haran and into this city? I want you guys to comment down below. What do you think this means for Dying Light 2? Do you agree with me? Do you think it's going to be something totally different? Tell me what you think. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want more Dying Light 2 content. I'm going to be putting out more Dying Light 2 content almost every day, if not every other day, hopefully, from now forward. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.